Welcome to Biology My Passion. I am Soumya Harikrishna. We are starting the second chapter in Class 11 Biology, that is Biological Classification. So here we are discussing a few earlier attempts of classification. The details I have mentioned in the previous video itself. It started with Aristotle, who is known as the father of biology. Then later the two-kingdom classification was proposed by called Linnaeus. And then came the most accepted type of classification, that is five-kingdom classification by Robert Whittaker. It was published in the year 1969. This classification of classifying all organisms into five kingdoms rather than two kingdoms, what Linnaeus did, makes the characterization and classification easier and solved many anomalies which were present prior to this classification. That means a two-kingdom classification had some limitations. That's why we had to think of another classification. So the main problems were in two-kingdom classification, as we know, there are only two kingdoms, plant kingdom and animal kingdom. So every single organism should belong to either plants or animal category. So here we can see bacteria and blue-green algae, then fungi, mosses, ferns, gymnosperms, angiosperms, all were included in the same kingdom, plantae. What is the reason for that? What is the common feature for all of them? Cell wall. They all possess a cell wall. That's why they were put in the category of plantae. But here, if you look very closely, we know that bacteria and blue-green algae are prokaryotic. They don't even have a well-defined nucleus or membrane-bound organelles, or their body organization is different from other organisms which are eukaryotes. Fungi, mosses, ferns, gymnosperms, angiosperms are all eukaryotes. So here prokaryotes and eukaryotes are kept together only because they have a cell wall. But when we think about cell wall also, fungal cell wall composition is different. Plant cell wall is made up of cellulosic material, whereas in fungus cell wall is made up of a polysaccharide called a chitin. So there also, though it possesses cell wall, it is different. And we know plants usually can synthesize their food, but fungi are saprophytic. They cannot prepare their own food. So that also was an anomaly. Fungi actually, they do not belong to this group. Another problem was with the mixing of unicellular and multicellular organisms together. Unicellular organism like Chlamydomonas was kept along with the multicellular Spirogyra in algae. So that is also not proper way of doing. Now later when Whittaker tried to solve this, he assigned a rank of kingdom to these prokaryotes. He separated bacteria and blue-green algae and put under a separate kingdom called a Monera. Then another problem was unicellular and multicellular put together. So this plant kingdom included Chlamydomonas and Chlorella, unicellular plants, and in animal kingdom, unicellular organisms like amoeba and paramecium were there. So he took out these unicellular organisms from plants and animals which are eukaryotic, because prokaryotes already we assigned a kingdom Monera. Now unicellular eukaryotes were taken out, were from plant kingdom as well as animal kingdom, and put under the same category, what is called our Protista. So like this he made totally five kingdoms instead of only two kingdoms. First prokaryotes were given a rank of Monera, unicellular eukaryotes were put under Protista. Then fungus, I told, they stand out separate, so they were put under a different category, kingdom fungi. Fungus was given a rank of a kingdom, and the rest multicellular, cellulosic cell wall and autotrophic organisms were put under plant kingdom, and the non-autotrophic or heterotrophic without cell wall, multicellular, they were put under animal kingdom. Later Corvus separated this Monera into again Archaebacteria and Eubacteria. So it became six kingdom classification. It was in 1990. The basis of five kingdom classification was cell structure, that is whether it is prokaryotic or a eukaryotic. Cellular organization, whether the body is unicellular or a multicellular. Then mode of nutrition, autotrophic or heterotrophic. Then comes the mode of reproduction and phylogenetic relationship. Phylogenetic relationship is very important because it is considering the evolutionary relationship. Phylogeny means evolutionary relationship between organisms. That means they have some common ancestor. That was also considered in this type of classification. Let's now discuss the characteristics of the five kingdoms in Whitaker's classification. He classified all the living organisms into five kingdoms: Kingdom Monera, Kingdom Protista, Kingdom Fungi, Kingdom Plantae, and Kingdom Animalia. This was to solve the anomalies associated with the two kingdom classification. But remembering all these in order is very important, because when we do classification, we are going from simple to complex, or we are going from in the evolutionary point of view. So in that case, mixing up will not be proper. So you have to tell in that order. After Monera only you have to say Protista. After Protista, fungi. After fungi, Plantae. Then Animalia. In order to remember this in order, you can think like this: my perfect father planted apple tree. Okay. So this is a mnemonics that you can use to remember this. Now coming to the characteristic features, if you compare, we already learned that the classification of Whittaker was based on the cell type, cell structure or organization, then mode of nutrition, reproduction, and phylogenetic relationship. Of this, first let's consider cell type. Cell type can be of two types, either prokaryotes or eukaryotes. What is the difference? Prokaryotes don't have a well-defined nucleus. What do you mean by well-defined? The contents are not defined by a membrane. So nuclear membrane is absent, whereas in eukaryotes, nuclear membrane is present. So first character we can say is he removed all the prokaryotes from the two kingdom classification, and then he put them in a single kingdom. So all the prokaryotes are now coming under kingdom Monera. So rest all kingdoms, Protista, fungi, plantae, and animalia, they include only eukaryotes or animals with a nuclear membrane. Rest all, that is Protista, fungi, plantae, and animalia, contain organisms with the cells having nuclear membrane. Now coming to the next point, if you associate with this, we can say the presence of nuclear membrane. Of course, for Monera it is absent. For all other four kingdoms it is present. Then one more thing we can tell with this, whether they are unicellular or multicellular. You know, when the prokaryotes are very simple, they can have only unicellular level of organization. So they are having only one cell in the body. Whereas the other organisms, eukaryotes, may be again unicellular or multicellular. So if it is unicellular and have a nucleus, they are all put under kingdom Protista. Then next level is fungi. Fungi, majority of them are multicellular, but yeast is a member which is unicellular. Then coming to plantae and animalia, they are all multicellular. Now if you see cell wall, it's easy to remember. First two you can say cell wall may or may not present. Fungi and plantae, cell wall is present. Animalia, cell wall is absent. But even though the first two are cell wall may or may not present, even if cell wall is present, it's not made up of cellulose like plants. It's made up of polysaccharides and some amino acids. When it comes to fungi, the cell wall is present and it is made up of a polysaccharide called a chitin. When it comes to plantae, the cell wall is made up of cellulose, hemicellulose, and a pectin. And animals, it is absolutely absent. Now coming to the next character, if you say organization of the body. Unicellular organisms have only cellular level of organization because they have only one cell, which are they? Monera and Protista. When it comes to fungi, okay, little more complexity is coming, that is loose tissues are there. But when you come to plantae, mainly plants have tissue systems. And animalia comes, we'll say about tissue system, tissues, organs, and organ systems level of organization. Now coming to mode of nutrition, again, first two are autotrophic or heterotrophic, whereas fungi are heterotrophic with a saprophytic or parasitic mode of nutrition. Plants are autotrophic and animalia are again heterotrophic. So if Monera are autotrophic, there can be two types of autotrophism. Auto means what? Self nutrition. They can be of two types. Either they can do photosynthesis to derive energy, or they can derive from chemical source, so that is called a chemotropism. That is only chemotropism in prokaryotes. When it comes to Protista, even if they are autotrophic, they have only photosynthesis. In fungi, they are exclusively heterotrophic. They are mostly saprophytic, or some of them can be parasitic also. Saprophytism, usually we say they feed on dead and decomposed matter, and parasitism means they live on the body of other organisms and derive nutrition from them. But actually here saprophytism means, why are they decomposing substances? Because they cannot take the food inside and digest within the body. So they secrete the digestive enzymes onto the organic molecules present or organic substances present around or biodegradable substances present. They degrade them and then absorb only the nutrients. That is called a saprophytic mode of nutrition. That's why they are acting as a decomposers in the soil. Now coming to plantae, they are exclusively autotrophic. They have chloroplast. Chloroplast has chlorophyll. They do the major uh, process called a photosynthesis to derive energy. The photosynthesis chapter I have uploaded in the channel. You can learn from that. And animalia. Animalia are heterotrophic. They can be either holozoic or saprophytic. Saprophytic, I told you, they digest outside the body, then absorb the nutrients. What is holozoic? We take in the food inside, like us. If you get your breakfast or lunch, whatever it is, we take in through our mouth, we ingest it, then only we digest it. After digestion, we absorb the nutrients, right? So that is called a holozoic mode of nutrition. So when you study, always learn in a comparative way so that it will be easy for you to remember. So hope you understood these parts very well. If so, please like, share and subscribe to my channel, Biology My Passion. Thank you for watching.